Okay, guys. Let's see about Hibernate session. Okay, fine. So let me keep in center. Oh, let me check whether it's coming live or not. Yes, it's live now. Fine. Where is it live? Live. Okay, fine. So where we can use a JDBC and where we can use OR mapping like Hibernate to develop a persistence logic. Okay. So let me add one node point for here first time. So where I can add, fine. So let me go back and think some of the students are facing issue. Just snipping to. So let's see a question. Yesterday we have seen some of the brief information about Hibernate. And in the Hibernate, before till now we have not started Hibernate, but we try to understand what is the need of Hibernate and what are the possible limitations which are available in JDBC and how it can be overcome by using the Hibernate that we have seen in yesterday's session. Also, we have seen some of the list of ORM software, object relational mapping software, which are Java based like EJB, Hibernate, IBTs, JPA, JDO, or Toplink from different vendor companies or different suppliers. Then later on, we have seen what is the meaning of OR mapping. What the meaning of actually? Let me take a recap sessions, 5 minutes. Then I'll go with the remaining questions and answer. The process, what is the meaning of OR mapping, or it is also called as object relational mapping? The OR mapping is the process of mapping a Java class with the database table, mapping Java class member variables with the database column values, and making a synchronization between Java data member variables and class names with the with database tables and the column values. Okay, so those are called. This concept is called as OR mapping, and we have seen this example. We have seen this scenario, this approach by using the pictorial representations, or you can call diagrammatic representations by using the student employee class and employee table, and also we have gone to the description of the student and student table. Okay, and let's see today where we can use a JDBC and where we can use a OR mapping like a Hibernate to develop the persistence logic. So before going to provide the notes, let me have some explanations. The, let me provide some description about where we can use JDBC and Hibernate. Suppose take an example, the application that is not having a user interface. The application that is not having the user interface and that deals with the other applications supplied by data periodically is called as offline applications. And obviously, the application that is having a user interface and deals with the user supplied data is called as online applications. So offline applications you can call census data processing or survey data processing is called as offline. Whereas in the case of online, you take any ERP sites or you take any internet website that is a online applications. So while developing an offline application and while developing online application, there are different terms. So while developing offline application that has to process a large amount of data or huge amount of data that comes in the form of batch by batch. Uh, Batch by batch means what? When you open a mail, and initially you will see a 50 mails in your mailbox inbox. When you click on next button, next batch will be executed. Remaining 51 to 100 mails will appear into your inbox. Again, when you click on next button in the third iteration, you will see 101 to 150 emails in your inbox. So this is called as batch processing. Means in a one network round trip, you are bringing 50 records from your database table to your applications in the mail applications. So this is called a batch applications. So while developing an offline application that has to process huge amount of data that comes to the batch by batch periodically, we have to use a JDBC because it does not create much objects while processing that data. And if you are using Hibernate in this offline application system, it may crash. So while processing huge amount of data because of Hibernate and ORM software create huge amount of objects to represent huge amount of records. So whenever there is a need of batch by batch operations, I will recommend to use JDBC. And whenever there are need of a limited amount of data, then you can work with the Hibernate based operations due to memory issues. So let me add one note point. What is the meaning of offline applications and what is the meaning of offline online applications? Offline application. Okay. Like offline application, we have one more terminology, that is online applications. Okay. Online applications. Fine. So first let me add offline applications. So the application that is not having user interface and that deals with other applications, other application supplied supplied data over a period or periodically is called as offline application. So let's take an example, maybe any survey data processing, or maybe census data processing. Let me call online application. What is the meaning of online application? The application that is having user interface and deals with the user supplied data is called as online application. So what are the examples? Any internet web application you can call internet websites or web applications, or online ERPs. Online ERPs. Okay. Let's take an example, email or gmail.com, or maybe you can use Meesho.com, etc. Now, when to use which one? Just as I explained now. So while processing online application, that has to process huge amount of data, huge amount of data that comes batch by batch, periodically. Then uses of JDBC is recommended. Uses of JDBC is then use JDBC. Then use JDBC because it does not create much objects. An object means memory. Does not create much objects while processing the data. Obviously this saves the memory. Okay. Processing the data. If you use Hibernate in this offline application, system may crash while processing huge amount of data because Hibernate or ORM software creates huge amounts of objects, or you can call large amounts of objects, and each object means memory objects. So each object require large amount of memory based on the data member It is wrapped in that object, to represent huge amount of records. So I hope you are clear. So in the case of JDBC, in the case of offline applications, instead of using ORM softwares, I will recommend to use a JDBC. I will recommend to use JDBC. Let me take an example. Teacher collects data, and after collecting the teacher data, it gives data entry operators. And what data entry operator has to do? Data entry operator. Data entry operator writes data to Excel sheet. Write data to Excel sheets. Okay. And further it provides Excel sheet Excel sheet to offline application to perform to perform to perform the following operation. Perform following operations. What are the operations? So first operation, so it need to validate the data. Second operation, correct the data. Third operations, process the data. Fourth operation, stores into stores the data stores the data into Oracle or maybe any other database. Instead of calling Oracle, stores into data database table, database Oracle or MySQL, etc. Database software. Okay, software table. So this is the scenario. So teacher collect the data, then collect the data, gives to data entry operator enters the data, and that whole data need to be maintained into the Excel sheets, and Excel sheet data need to be inserted into your database software. Okay, so this is a repeated task and it requires large amount of memory. Similarly, this is in the case of offline. Okay, so what in the case of online? So in the case of online, so while developing online application, online application that deals with the that deals with limited amount of memory, limited amount of data. Data means what? Memory. So while developing online application that deals with the limited amount of data given by end user, given by end user, it is recommended to use it is recommended to use OR mapping software, OR mapping software or OR mapping framework, OR mapping software or OR mapping framework. So what are the OR mapping frameworks? So like Hibernate for persistence logic, for writing persistence logic to take the advantage of ORM software features like caching, memory caching, then database portability, etc., which are not available, which are not available in JDBC. Okay, I hope you are clear when to use JDBC and when to use OR mapping Hibernate softwares. Okay, fine, guys. So now, after understanding this, let's see and next point. Some of the important points let me add here. Important uh, important points about ORM, Object Relational Mapping Software. Okay. So what is a ORM? ORM software, ORM software like like Hibernate, like Hibernate, take care of the mismatches, mismatches between Java language, Java language features and RDBMS software, RDBMS data tables designing. So ORM softwares like Hibernate take care of the mismatches between Java language features and relational database management system data table designing. So this need not to take care of manually. ORM software itself take cares how to design the database tables. Okay, just you need to define the rules. Next up, we design a Java application. Next up, we design Java application based object oriented program principles and and we designed and we design database table based normalization normalization rules. In this process there is a chance of mismatches mismatch may encounter between Java classes and database table database table. Okay, database table as a part of OR mapping. OR mapping, then then OR mapping. So this issue will be resolved. This issue will be resolved resolved by ORM software. ORM softwares like what? Hibernate. So let me add one example. So Java supports inheritance. Java supports inheritance. Java supports inheritance between between the classes and interfaces, but database database tables mapped by these classes do not support inheritance. Do not support inheritance. So hence we can use ORM framework. We can use ORM framework software like what? Hibernate to resolve this problem and to perform persistence operation using the object of object of object of these Java classes. Fine. So obviously Java supports inheritance, whereas database does not support inheritance. So in this case, I want to achieve the inheritance and the dependency between and synchronization between Java classes and database table. So how do I resolve this issue? This issue will be resolved or taken care by ORM software itself automatically. Just you need to configure one to many or many to one relationship. That we shall see later on, but not now. But this is one important feature if you use ORM software. Okay, so I'm repeating once again, same issue. So Java supports inheritance, superclass, subclass. Okay, so superclass features will be available into subclass itself. Whereas in the case of database tables, we have the normalizations. To achieve the normalizations, I need to assign the primary key into foreign key into secondary tables. In that case, one to one normalization, one to many normalization, many to one normalizations. In this case, I want to perform a data synchronizations. So how do I able to achieve? So the programmer need not to worry about this synchronization issues. The ORM software itself will take care about this synchronization between data from Java class object to database table records. So how do I able to achieve? We are having the annotation one to many, many to one. That we shall see practically, not now. Okay, just keep in mind. This is one of the features. Okay, so these are the two important points about the OR mapping. Let's see about. So there are multiple approaches to perform multiple approaches to perform to perform persistence operations. Persistence operations from our Java application. From our Java applications. Okay. So what are the multiple approaches to perform persistence operations? This already we have seen in the JDBC itself. Already we have seen. So what are the operations? So if the application is small scale desktop applications or maybe mobile applications, I can able to store the data from my Java application to the file, and I will make a file as a persistent store. And in this case, I need to work with the file output stream and file input stream. Okay. So this is one way. So another way, I can able to perform the mobile based applications or the desktop based applications, and I want to store the data into the file. So that application, that this kind of task, fetching the data from the file system to Java application to file system, I can perform by using object input stream and object output stream also. Okay. Object input stream and object output stream also. So like this, there are different approaches where you can able to perform a persistence operation. Similarly, you can able to perform the persistence operations by using your Java applications and database table by using the JDBC as an intermediate technique. And apart from this third approach, we have the ORM software. Okay, so what is the ORM software? So I want to perform a conversion between Java application to database software. So what I will do, I will integrate ORM in between both of them, and ORM is responsible to perform all these CURD operations or persistence operations. So first, let me draw a diagram. And first approach one I can call APPROCH approach one. Okay. So what is the approach? If application, if application, if application is small scale, if application is small scale, that may be a desktop application or mobile application. Desktop or you can call mobile application. So mobile application. Desktop application or you can call mobile application generating or generating text data or you can call simple values. Simple values then use files as persistence storage persistence storage and use RO operations, input output IO streams based operations. Input output streams for persistence operations. Okay, so let's take an example. Uh, I have where is that, Baba? Let me draw paint. Where is my paint? So here let me add. Oh, this is my approach one. Okay, fine. And here I have a Java application. So instead of this, let me draw a box. So this is my Java application. Okay. No, this is approach one, and let me add one more block box which has a Java application, which I have one more file. Okay, and this file is responsible to perform a data storage operations. So here I will add. Oh, let me keep this file. Maybe I will use the same. So I will use this one. So where do I save? Day 2. Let me create one more new folder. Day 2. So figure 1. So approach. ठीक है चलो. Let me open this diagram once again. I'll create copy, control V. Now I will change. So instead of this one, I will change open in Notepad. Open with Paint. Fine. So this is my Java application. And here what I'm trying to do, I want to perform a text processing operation. Okay, text data, or you can call simple values. Fine. Text data, or you can call simple values. So now, okay, fine. So Java applications trying to store this simple values text data. Okay, and this simple values text data need to be stored into my text file. So how can I able to perform this operation? I can able to use input stream and output stream. You can call file input stream and file output stream, or you can also call uh, stream based operations or file writer. So this is my file. You can call .txt file or any other. Okay, so here I'm adding all this data. Similarly, to write, I'm using here file output stream or file output stream, or even I can use file writer. Okay, file output stream or file writer. Similarly, I want to perform input stream based operation. This is one record. Maybe I want to write second record. Same operations I can able to do by using file input stream and file output stream. So let me add the arrows. So this I can achieve by using file input stream and file output stream, or file output stream, or you can also call file writer, file reader, or you can use file writer. Okay, fine. So whenever there is a need to store a small amount of data from your Java application to the file, you can take the help of file output stream or file writer or file input stream or file reader. Okay, fine. So here I'll write figure one. Fine. Next I'll go with the approach 2. So what is approach 2 deals with so if application is small scale or maybe small desktop applications or mobile applications, generating the data in the form of generating the data in the form of object in the form of objects. Okay, then use then use then use as persistent store, then use then use file as a persistent store and input output stream for performing persistence operations, but in the form of serialization and deserializations. So I can call serializations, I can call and deserializations. So yesterday we learned about what is serialization and what is deserialization. The meaning of serialization is if you change anything in the form of data from one layer, it will be automatically reflected to the another tier or another layer. So that may be Java application layer, that may be database layer. So if you make changes in the database layer, same reflection should be done in the Java application. Java application changes should be reflected into to the database layers. Okay, fine. So let me open another diagram. So let me close and let me make a copy of this diagram. So where is that? Control C, Control V. So I'll change to figure 2, approach 2. Fine. Not this one. F2, Control C, Control C, Control V, F2, Control C. Will it? Okay, fine. Just open this one with the paint. Fine. So instead of say calling approach 1, I will call as a approach 2. So here you can write approach 2. Fine. So this is my Java application. Java application. And here I have the data. So data in the form of object, Java object. Okay. Now I want to store this data in the form of Java object to the files itself. To the files. That may be any file. That may be text file or that may be any other file. So how do I able to store? So to store this data, I can use a object output stream and object input stream. Okay. Object output stream and object input stream. Now let me add, I want to store this data from a Java application to the file. Okay, Java application to the file. So to store this data, I will use here uh, object output stream. Fine. And this is called as deserialization. Okay, deserialization. Fine. And similarly, I can able to perform object input stream, for serializations. Okay, fine. I think I made reverse arrows, so I will change the arrows. Wait, I will cut this part. Actually, output now, so it should be in this direction. Fine. So it should be this way. Let me add one more arrow from my Java application to my text file. Okay, fine. So in this way, I can able to do I can able to achieve file-based operation. Nowadays, industry don't use, but this is for just information purpose. Okay, this is your approach to. Now here you can able to perform serialization and deserialization operations. So actually it should be serializations, not deserialization here. So I'll remove this part. Fine. Serializations. Object input stream. Fine. So this is the approach to. So what is the meaning of serializations and deserializations? Actually, as I told yesterday, the reflection changes made in one tier, it should be reflected to other tiers. Even serialization can also be explained or defined in the following way: the process of converting the object data into bits and bytes. So when you are converting your object data into bits and bytes is called as serializations. So these bits and bytes can be written to the files or maybe your database software. Okay, or you can vice versa. So what is the meaning of deserialization? The process of reading data from file. The process of reading data from file and converting object having a data is called as deserialization. So let me add that point, the process of serialization deserialization. So the process of converting object data object data into bits and bytes is called as serializations. And these bits and bytes and these bits and bytes bits and bytes can be written to file or database software. What is the meaning of deserialization? The process of reading data from file and creating object having data is called as deserialization. Deserialization. Fine. Next, we shall see about approach 3. So now we learned about small scale applications and figure 2. Let me change here figure 2, approach 2. So now we shall see about approach 3. Okay. So in the approach 3, I'm going to use a not small scale application. I will use a medium scale application. If the application is medium scale application, if the application is what? Medium scale application. So here, obviously here I'm going to use JDBC. So if the application is medium scale application, that may be a desktop or that may be a web application. It may be any applications, online or offline. If the application is medium scale application, generating mm, generating generating the less less means not much less but limited less amount of data in the form of text in the form of text, or you can call object text or simple values. Okay, so then use then use database software then use database software that may be Oracle, MySQL or PostgreSQL, anywhere, whatever you feel comfort. Database software as a persistent store and use JDBC code JDBC code to perform JDBC code for persistence operations. For persistence operation. Okay. Let's see a figure 3. I think I should save this file also. Day 2 Hibernate. Fine. Let me create a copy of the same. Control C, Control V, F2, figure 3, approach, make it 3. Okay, fine. Let me open this figure 3, approach 3. I'll try to change some logic. Okay, fine. So open with the paint. Fine. So I'll move a little bit up for this section. Okay, fine. This is my Java application, and here I have a Java code. Fine. So this is my Java application. Okay, Java application, and here I have some code that is text or maybe the data or maybe any simple values that is holding that is available to variable, a simple variables, a simple values, and you need to store these values into my database software. So just make this as a database software. Okay, I'll remove this part and I'll make this as a database software. Fine. And here I'll add the label. This is my database software. Database software. Okay, guys, fine. This may be any database software, Oracle, MySQL, or you can choose anyone. And I want to store this data to my database software, or I want to perform persistence operations on this data. So how do I able to do? So in this approach 3, what I should do, I need to take the help of JDBC code. I need to write a JDBC code. So here is my JDBC code. Okay. So JDBC code I need to write. Okay, JDBC code snippet I need to write to perform a persistence operation. To perform persistence operations. So what is the flow of execution about this one? So Java applications takes the help of JDBC code. Java applications takes the help of this JDBC code to perform persistence based operations. To perform this persistence based operations. So actually it's not, this arrow is not fitting. So I will add this one. And this is bidirectional you can call. This is a bidirectionals. This may be over the network or maybe off the network. On network or within networks or without networks. If without networks, then you can use localhost. If within the networks, you need to pass the IP address and the, or maybe you can use machine name with the port number along with the database name. Fine. So this is approach 3. This is which approach? This is the third approach. Approach third. Fine. So in this way, you can able to perform a persistent logic operations. Fine. Save. Fine. So figure 3, approach 3. Approach 3. So approach 4. Let's see now. Now in this case, the application may be a medium scale or maybe a large scale in approach 4. Okay. So application may be, so in this approach 4, the application may be, the application is medium scale, medium or large scale, medium or large scale application dealing with less amount of data, then use database software as persistence store and use JDBC or ORM software. ORM software means what? Here in this case we are learning Hibernate, so I'll keep here in bracket Hibernate framework for persistence logic. Okay, fine. So let's see figure 4, approach 4 based on figure 4. Okay. So again, I have to copy this file and I have to shift some contents. Otherwise, let me use a new paint. So that paint and take this scenario, approach 4 based on scenario. I need rectangle here. I need one more rectangle. So add here approach 4, approach 4. Fine. And this is my Java applications. Actually, I'm going to create two different Java applications. One is for JDBC, one is for ORM. This is my Java app one, and this is my Java app 2. Okay, fine. And in this Java app one, I'm going to create the object. This is my object, and here also I do have object. Okay. Let me add here. This is my Java app, Java application, and I have one more Java application, one more Java application. Okay. ठीक है. So let me add here the name called object. Oh, I got very small font. Control A. Let me increase the font size. And this is also my object. Why the shape is coming very slow? Fine. Next, what I'm doing, I'm dealing with the objects. Okay. And here also I can deal with the data. Now I have a database software. So which is good practice, which is a bad practice, that we shall see now. So this is my database software. And here I will add some part of curve. This is my database software, and fine. So what I will do, I need to take the help of, this is my database. I think this font is too small again. So here let me draw our database software. Fine. So I have database software. Now you only tell me which is the best approach. Java application. Now I'm going to use ORM software. So here is my ORM software. Okay. Now I have objects. I have text. I have text data, maybe simple values data. Okay, fine. Text data or simple values data. I want to insert this data into my database software. So which is recommended? So either to use ORM or to use simple text values. So what shall you do? Which is the best approach? So object is going to be converted by the ORM, and ORM is going to send this data to the database software. So which is the best approach? You only tell me. So obviously object with the ORM is the best approach. Why? Because I'm not going to send the data part by part. What I'll do, I'll send the data, I'll wrap that data into object, and I will send this data object to the database software for performing persistence operation. That may be create, insert, update, or delete. So instead of sending a single data, again unwrapping that data to the text and simple, and again sending this data to the database software is not a good approach, or maybe you can call not recommended. This is not recommended. Okay. So rather I will call this is not a good approach. The second case is a this is not good. Okay. Or you can call recommended. This is recommended, or you can call it's good approach. APP or OSCH. We'll change the color. This is recommended good approach, and this is not a good approach. Maybe you can call not good means bad. I can call bad approach. Okay, bad approach or bad practice. Okay, fine. So in approach 4, I recommend to take the help of object with the ORM software and let the ORM software to deal with all the persistence based operations, data insertion, updation, deletion, or maybe selecting of all the records from the database table and bringing back to the Java applications. Okay. So these are the 4 different approaches. So we have one more approach that we shall see now. Okay, fine. Mm, So I hope you are clear up to here. So let me save and figure 4 to approach 4. Okay, fine. Um, so let's go with the approach 5. What approach 5 tells to you? So which one is recommended? So when to use which one? Okay. So I will copy as it is. I will modify the contents. So in approach 5, in this approach 5, that may be a small, medium scale application, or that may be a large scale application. So the application is medium or large scale application dealing with the large amount of data, dealing with the not less or maybe a large amount of data. So earlier we had less or small amount of data. So here I got small, and here I'm dealing with the large or huge amount of data. Okay, then what I should do? So use the database software as a persistent store. Yes, recommended. Okay, and in this case, instead of using JDBC, so use JDBC to write the. So instead of using Hibernate, I will deal with the only JDBC. Okay, I will deal with only JDBC. Use the JDBC for persistence logic. Why persistent logic? Because you are fetching large amount of data from your database software to your Java applications. And if you try to store that large amount of data which is coming from database software to Java application in the form of object, so each object has bunch of member variables, and each variable holds that data into form of text. So definitely it requires object as a large amount of memory. One row, one objects. If you have 1,000 rows, 1,000 objects. If one object consumes at least 100 KB, then 1,000 objects, 1,000 multiplied by 100. So that much of amount of memory will be consumed on your RAM. So in that case, whenever you have large amount of data or huge amount of data in a large scale or medium scale applications, work with the plain JDBC for performing persistence logic based operations. Okay, and whenever you have small amount of data, so approach 4 is recommended. Approach 4 is recommended. Okay, so where is my approach 4? Okay, now so in the approach 4, small amount of data, single objects, use ORM. If your object simple data, text values, so here using ORM is not recommended. But if the data is large, then in that case you need to use JDBC. Fine. So already we learned this concept, but as point came, how many of you remember, guys, among you, what is the difference between programming language, technology, and framework? Huh? What is the difference between what is the difference between programming language, programming language, software, software technology, or you can call technology and framework. How many of you remember in JDBC session? Huh? What is the difference between programming language, software technology, and framework? How many of you remember? Please tell. I hope no one, because it's been almost a 6 month that we have completed JDBC, Solids, and JSP. Okay. So what is the difference between programming language, software technology, and I can call framework? Please tell me. Do I need to retake this same example? Yes or no? Hmm? What is the software first? Tell me. Huh? What is the meaning of programming language? So programming language comes in the form of zip file, na? exe files or zip file. What you do generally, you extract on your systems and you will start using the compiler. So compiler will match the syntaxes and you can able to write the programs. So programming language is a raw material, you can call a raw facts. So programming language is a directly installable software or extractable file which has a raw material or raw stuff having the basic feature of the application development or fundamental features of the application development. So it defines only syntax, it checks the compiler, and it defines only semantics of a programming. So syntax means what? Rules for the coding. And semantics what means? The structure of the coding. Means what is the meaning of structure? Some comments, the structure of a comment starts, structure of a Java program starts from the comment line. Then import so and so header package, include so and so, import so and so header packages and classes, then library files, then define your class or interface, then constructor, then body, then methods, blah 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 blah. You generally define. So this is structure of a whole class. So syntax deals with the rules for the coding, and semantics deals with the syntax of your program. So the language may be a C, C++, Java, or C Sharp. So these are the languages. Then what is the technology? How technology comes or evolves into the world. So with the help of language, by taking the help of language, the technology has been launched in the market. So software or technology is not I can call installable software, but it is a software specifications which has been given by software vendor companies. Okay. So software technology or technologies are the specifications defining a set of rules and regulations, or you can call guidelines, to create the software, to create other software by using one or another programming language support technology, by using one other language, or you can call the supports. So by default, technology is not an installable software. So based on the specification which has been given by the vendor companies, we need to create a other applications with the help of technology. Fine. So what are the different types of technologies? Open source technologies or closed, or we can call proprietary technology. Instead of calling closed source, let us call a proprietary. What is the meaning of open source? Open source technologies, the rules and regulations are given to the world in a free of cost. Define whatever you want to define the technologies. Take example JDBC, Solids, JSP, or even you can call EJP. Okay. Similarly, proprietary, the rules and guidelines of each technology are specific to that company or that vendor only. So similarly, the proprietary softwares does not allow to develop or implement a software other than the own vendor or the who is the owner of that particular specifications. So in that case, just take example, all Microsoft companies products all are proprietary softwares. Okay, they are not open source. So similarly, you can create a frameworks also. So rather, instead of explaining all these topics today, so we shall see this topic tomorrow. Hey, tomorrow I may be on leave. So instead of having tomorrow, I will conduct the session on Sunday. I hope this is fine to all. Okay. And I'll go with the software technologies and other parts also. And I'll start Hibernate tutorials. Okay. Hibernate frameworks. It will take another 2 to 3 days. How I can able to work with the how I can able to start Hibernate frameworks. Another 2 to 3 sessions. Probably in Sunday we will have sessions. Okay. Fine. Thank you. So let me stop streaming.